and welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature, and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Fawks, Lapole.
And I'm Katy Holloway, and today we're talking about lovable, creepy crawlies. in the nice way, not like I don't know. I feel like creepy crawlies. It's good. It's gonna be good. We're gonna sell you.
It's lovable.
If it's lovable, it must be fine. We're gonna sell you on insects today and why you should like insects,
or at least invertebrates.
Invertebrates.
I don't know what most people call bugs. I would definitely say mine are bugs.
Over
in the generic
insects.
term.
We should probably explain that too. The difference between the two. Are you gonna explain it at all? Insect versus bug.
But we could do it right now.
Okay, go for it.
Well, there's a couple different things. One, an insect, by definition, has to have 6 legs and antenna and 3 body parts. When people refer to bugs, it's usually just a generic term for, stuff that lives under a rock or a log.
Yeah, anything.
But I know there are true bugs, and I think they're in the beetle family.
Yes.
But I'm not worrying about it.
No. Yeah. So there is a difference. In case anybody wants to get as crazy as I get about ape versus monkey and venomous versus poisonous, where I still have to correct. I have to correct people. Somebody I work with who is a true Texan. So I'm in Fort Worth, Texas right now, and true Texan. And he said about a poisonous snake, and not even thinking, I just went venomous. And he was like, venomous.
That's my proudest moment is that now I get Justin to correct people on that.
Whoa. Getting the husband to correct people. It's
not poisonous, it's venomous.
It's venomous. But it is, so it's episode 7 today, which, hey, it's episode 7. Most podcasts fail by this point.
Yeah,
and we're still going.
We can just get through this. We just gotta make it to the end. Don't jinx it.
just gotta last. Let me pull mine up. Okay, do you want to go first on your news?
Sure, I'm ready.
Go for it.
All right, so to start off, we've got our nature news little segment, and mine is that a cephalopod has passed a cognitive test designed for human children.
That's creepy.
Yeah, but so cool. It's an article on sciencealert.com. So there's this intelligence test or some along those lines. It's called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, and they usually give it to kids.
Okay. I know which one you're talking about. I know what you're okay.
So a kid is placed in a room with a marshmallow.
Yep.
If they're told if they can manage not to eat it for 15 minutes, they'll get a second one, and then they can eat both. So it's about delayed gratification.
And so what animals did they do this with?
A cuttlefish.
Yes!
But it's not marshmallows.
I was hoping it was marshmallows. I was like,
no,
this is the cutest
so cute.
test ever.
No, they said that you can do it with animals, but usually it's not a matter of more food. It's a matter of better food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they've done some experiments, and they've discovered that some primates, along with dogs, and corvids, have all passed the marshmallow test. So they learned that better food will come later. So it says that last year, cuttlefish also passed a version of the marshmallow test.
I can't get over, first of all, testing a cuttlefish. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that you're testing them is cute in itself. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Continue.
It said that they refrained from eating a meal of crab meat in the morning once they learned that dinner was going to be something that they liked better, which was shrimp.
So
they would just not eat that morning. Yeah.
That's like Carl. That's like Carl, my husband, when he knows we're going to like a big, good dinner place at night, he will skip lunch because I
definitely do that on the holidays.
I gotta make room. I gotta make room. Gotta save up.
And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the delayed gratification. Apparently, they were placed in a special tank with 2 chambers that had transparent doors, and the snacks were in there so that they could choose which one they preferred. A raw king prawn or live grass shrimp. And the doors had symbols on them that the cuttlefish had been trained to recognize. A circle meant the door would open right away. A triangle meant the door would open after time.
Jeez. The fact that they can even do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people don't give them enough credit for it. Crazy.
So I firmly believe that cephalopods would probably rule the planet if it was all ocean.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, octopi would rule us, but cuttlefish would definitely be like their lackeys.
That is awesome. All right. Hold on to yourselves, ladies. David Attenborough led AR app brings extinct creatures to life. So
wait,
David Attenborough, he's voicing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that the title is, this is from nerdist.com, but the title is David Attenborough led AR app brings extinct creatures to life. Yeah, that's what it says. Anyway, he's voicing an app. So he's the narrator, of course, of an app that brings its extinct species back. It's called Museum Alive. Ooh. And what it does is it almost like the like the Jurassic Park game. Where you could like,
I was into it.
Yeah, where you could. Oh, that's right. You were.
That was the one game that I did get into.
Yes, and so where you can
dinosaurs,
right, and where you can hold your phone up and see them and stuff. It's sort of like the same thing, only with extinct species. And so he is the narrator for it.
Perfect. I want to listen to his wonderful voice all the time.
Right? That's why I said, hold on to yourselves, ladies. Here comes David Attenborough again.
Oh, bless him.
So in other news, since we're talking about random other things, of things that I can pronounce. So in the tree episode, I had mentioned about earthing and how going out barefoot, how you're supposed to feel a lot more grounded and everything. And then I mentioned earthing and grounding. So I did some research and found out that they're actually two separate things, although similar concept. And I actually found a 2-in-1 set on Amazon that I'm not going to get, but we're going to start adding to this news section. Sometimes we'll talk about nature news, and then we're going to start throwing in some random things. Like I got a book that talks all about earthing, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to do 30 days. They say you have to do 30 minutes outside earthing, and I'm going to do a report, and we'll put it on. I'll start doing that on the Instagram. Instagram.
On the Instagram.
I'm a millennial. We're getting too old for this. But I'll put it on Instagram, and I'll kind of document in here too, but I'll sort of document on Instagram. I don't know, just if I notice a difference. They say that if you're doing earthing and it stops inflammation. It's supposed to like have all these kinds of health benefits. So I'm gonna try it. Now grounding, on the other hand, I don't think I have a heart arrhythmia condition, and so I don't think I should try this one, because this is the one, it's like a mat that you like plug. One of them was a mat that you plug into your outlet, and then you put your feet on it. And then there was another one where you plug it into the outlet, and then you put like patches on your body. I don't feel comfortable doing that with a heart arrhythmia. You know what? Maybe it'll shock me back into rhythm. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I just need to do some grounding.
Sync.
But that one it makes me a little bit skeptical. But the thought process is that people who don't have access to soil, grass, earth, do grounding, and you can do it in your home. And so it's supposed to give you the same benefits. But I'm just going to do the earthing for 30 days. And
yeah, man, you're in Texas. It's getting warm there.
Oh, it getting warm? I mean, past, the mild apocalypse that we just had a few weeks ago where all of Texas was falling apart in the snow. 2 days later, it was, 70 and sunny, like late that weekend. Yeah, it was. So it's been nice. It's been in the 70s. But I mean, hey, it's Texas. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take advantage. So make sure you're following us on Instagram at FTLON podcast, and follow us on there, and I'll be giving updates. And then we will start to throw in like these, maybe like our own Mythbusters. Hopefully that term isn't copyrighted and we just got ourselves sued, but we're gonna kind of do like our own myth, like our own nature Mythbusters. So if you guys have ideas, or if you have things that you're like, hey, I heard about XYZ, let us know. Like, reach out to us, let us know, and we'll give it a try, because I'm excited about this.
I definitely am willing to like learn about new things and new practices and products that
for sure
I'd be willing to try.
Yeah, for sure. Just not plugging myself into an outlet. That one,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I draw the line
at some things. Personal harm,
Alrighty. The whole point of this episode is we want to kind of pitch to you guys and those of you who don't like insects or bugs, bring you to the side that hopefully you at least have at least a little bit more of appreciation.
Yeah, if you're gonna, we originally thought, you could consider these as, starter bugs.
Yes, starter bugs, yes.
To just get you on the creepy crawly train, which is the best train.
The creepy crawly train. Well, speaking, though, of starter bugs, this one could literally be a starter bug because a lot of people do raise them, and I'm going to be talking about monarch butterflies.
Ooh, oh, come on. How can you not?
See?
Man, Katie, you cheated with a butterfly. Everybody already likes them.
Not really. Remember, you and I, we do have a mutual friend who hates
butterflies. You're right. A mutual friend who's afraid of butterflies.
Who's terrified of butterflies. So not everybody likes monarch butterflies or butterflies in general. And if she who shall remain nameless wants to oust herself as hating butterflies, I know she follows us on our social media platforms.
Please do.
So she can name herself. And this would be a good test to see if she listens to every episode too. This is her test.
Yeah. Tell everyone why. Why don't you like butterflies?
And hopefully I can change your mind. Probably not, since you're a grown adult and still hate them, but but maybe this will help. Maybe I could be a little bit more persuasive here. All right, so monarch butterflies, for those of you who don't know, they're orange and black in appearance and weigh less than half a gram. Their wingspan is 4 inches, or if you're Nat Geo, they compare them to the size of a teacup. They can be found from northern South America up through Central America, the U.S. and Canada. And I did not know this, but they can also be found in Eastern Australia.
Really?
Yep. Eastern Australia, New Zealand, Indonesian islands, and Oceania. Did not know.
Natively? Natively?
Yeah, they're there now. So, if you look up monarch habitat distribution, that's all I Googled and it came up. Yeah, I did not know. Josh, our artist Josh, who draws all the amazing artwork for us, including our cover art and everything. He is our insect knowledge guru of anything bugs and insects. So we'll just probably have a whole episode after this episode that's issuing all the corrections from the facts that we give in this one episode. So, but he'll be able to say if they're native or not. But they're there. I mean, it was on all the lists. So in the U.S., though, they are known for their large migration patterns. Mm-hmm. So for those who don't know, butterflies, they start as caterpillars and go through the life cycle, which is 4 stages to become a butterfly. So in butterfly form, they will travel between 1,200 and 2,800 miles in Canada, in the U.S. down to central Mexico, where they gather in large groups.
That's only the eastern variety, right? Because the western hibernates in California.
Yes. Good distinction to make. Another distinction is that they obviously don't do this in their caterpillar form, but
oh my gosh, that'd be terrifying.
Just swarm. Josh needs to draw that one too. Joshua, can you draw a hitchhiking caterpillar?
Oh. Can you imagine the carnage? Can you imagine the absolute carnage if it was a caterpillar migration?
It would just everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
That's so again, Western PA tent worms, or what are their actual names? They have an actual name, but I
don't know. We call them tent caterpillars.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully everybody knows what we're talking about. And whenever those come, because some years they come out in huge swarms, other years they don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be that where it's you can't get away from them, where they're just everywhere. I feel like that's what it would be like. But so monarch butterflies, they migrate as butterflies, not caterpillars. But Joshua, please draw a hitchhiking caterpillar. So like Laura said, the eastern variety, they hibernate in Mexico, which is the milder climate, or the western in California. And if you haven't seen pictures of monarchs in Mexico, please do. It's
freaking incredible.
It's so amazing. And I know if butterflies freak you out, maybe you don't want to watch it, but I would just love to go and just sit.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny that you bring this up, because I go through like phases where I'm like really into the monarch butterfly thing, and then I forget about it for a while, and then I learn about it some more, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I this past year was just thinking, man, it wouldn't even be that hard to go to Mexico. It wouldn't even be that expensive. Let's just go.
That would be cool. I don't know if it's protected land or not. That would be
I think you can take certain excursions, like guided excursions, to there, because I don't know, but I've heard there are so many you can hear them flap.
Yeah,
and that they break branches. There's so many on the branches. Which
would also be really sad, because I'll get into kind of like, I mean, they're not doing so hot right now as far as population-wise. And then, they're down there and they're in such huge groups that they break branches. And then do they all fly off, or is there fatalities? I don't know. But
probably most fly, but yeah,
you would think. But you never know. But anyway, yeah, so it's just it's so many. Please look it up. It's awesome. And I mean, I would, if I traveled, 1,200, 2,800 miles, I would want to like chill with a bunch of friends too, and just be like, look what we did. So the migration, though, it's not a normal migration. The migrations are often multi-generational, where they will migrate part of the way, then their offspring will go the rest of the way.
That's one of the most mind-blowing things to me.
It is.
Because, like, how do they know?
Yes, right? So
it's not like, some animals, like, they'll migrate and then they'll go back to the same place the next year.
Yeah.
No. This is not the same insect.
No.
This is its offspring. It's crazy.
So the average lifespan is 6 to 8 months of the caterpillar to butterfly whole. 6 to 8 months. The butterfly phase only lasts a matter of weeks. So that's why it's like the multi-generational. So even though, it's 8 months, the total lifespan, the butterfly phase is a matter of weeks. So it's only 6 to 8 weeks. Six. I said about 6 weeks, I think, is what the average was, maybe.
And I know, isn't like one of them, there's different, not versions, but I don't know what do they call them? There's like different generations. There's like generation, and one of the generations lives longer than the other ones.
Yes. I don't know. Josh, that's what I said. We're going to have to issue a whole correction.
Listen, guys, we researched this stuff, but we're not experts.
Entomologists. We are nothing, not even close. But I will say, though, speaking of being researched, do you remember in college that direction project that we did? That our undergrad advisor made us do. So our undergrad advisor, he drove a bunch of blindfolded students around in a
giant white van,
zigzagging through back streets to try and throw off our sense of direction. And then we finally stopped somewhere, and we had to get out, and he spun us around, and we had to tell him where north was, how far from the school we were, and a bunch of other stuff. And that year, the year that we did it, he said that was the first time that cops weren't ever called on him. And he's a pretty big jokester, but I also kind of believed him anyway. But it goes back to the point of like, how do they know? Like, I have a great sense of direction, but that is definitely by me figuring things out. And I pay attention. I don't rely on a GPS. Because what is it? The more they did they did a research. Scientists did a study on taxi drivers. And
I believe it.
Remember, and did directional, and they had some completely rely on GPS and others not. And so I think it's a part of your brain that those neurons, they actually get weakened because they're not using it. But I couldn't find, I'll have to dig deeper. But at least humans, we learn to navigate. Learn. Right. They're butterflies.
They're just born knowing.
Because, but birds, they have an apparatus to help them. Directional.
Right. With magnetic stuff.
Yeah. I should have dug deeper on the monarchs. But anyway, because it is multi-generational, it has to be, how their genetic...
It's got to be something, I would think, something physiological.
Yes, other than just like, hey, this is where we go. So anyway, so yeah, it's just amazing. Multi-generational. They eventually get down there, and that's where they hibernate. Another fun fact about monarchs is that when they are in the caterpillar form, they will actually headbutt each other for food.
That's so cute.
Right? So because milkweed, which is their primary food source, is so scarce, I guess they have to become pretty competitive. So a friend of mine actually sent me that article, and so I had to mention it because I just imagine headbutting caterpillars, which is really cute.
And they've got their little like curvy antenna that look like tiny little bullhorns.
Right? Just off each other's head. All right, so
it'd be whatever the squishy noise is equivalent to that.
All right. So what makes headbutting monarchs such a great intro, lovely creepy crawly, besides them being butterflies, and who would be afraid of that? Well, first,
and beautiful.
Yeah, and beautiful. They are really beautiful. So first of all, monarchs are raised by people all the time. If you listen to the very first episode, you hear about mine and Laura's aspirations of owning a butterfly farm. So you can order caterpillars online. You can take care of them, watch them grow, and release them. So it's a hands-on insect that it really isn't scary. A great opportunity for kids to go ahead and watch them grow throughout their stages and become a butterfly. And it's a patience task for kids for sure. And then Josh, who I was getting ideas from this episode, he even said that monarchs have also been known to become pretty friendly around people who keep the misemerged one as pets. So
that's so cute.
Right? But I should have asked him what misemerged mean. Like, what happens?
I think that means like when they molt, something happens, and so they don't come out normal.
But what does not normal, like, is it a halfling? Like, is it in between, like...
Well, I don't know. I've seen, like, a cricket who's, like, missing a leg, or its wings are all crinkled.
Or is it
I would
in
assume
between
it's something
stages?
With crinkled wings.
Okay. I was like, or is it, like, is it half caterpillar, half...
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, is it... So, yeah.
I'm sure that's not it, but...
Can we pretend for a little bit that that's it? But yeah, so raising them, and then you can release them. There's tagging programs that you can be a part of. And so if you're looking for a way to enjoy insects, and you can have a hands-on conservation approach to helping the environment by adding more pollinators to the area. Another reason that makes them lovely is there's a huge misconception of people thinking every insect will bite and or sting them. And so while yes, anything with a mouth can bite, I have found several different sources that said that monarchs won't bite you.
Do they actually have a mouth, though, or is it just a tongue?
I think it's... Or like... well, technically, if it's coming out of if the tongue is...
All right, yeah, technically,
the tongue is coming out of something. But it is mostly a tongue, so they can't really, like, bite you. I think with people, if you were to hold a butterfly, the creepy part is, like, the feet. Like, the scratchy little feet.
And I know that they like salt, so like sometimes they do send out their little tongue to like lick.
Yeah, and so
which might be disconcerting.
Yeah. If you're okay with scratchy feet and licking, then you might like a butterfly. Magical. Yeah, right. But that's at least more of a mental block. You know what I mean? Like scratchy feet and it licking you, that's completely harmless. So it's mental over physical pain. It's not like, hey, I'm going to like wasps, and so I'm going to go out there and hold one and hope it doesn't hurt me. No, like this one, it's totally a mental block because it really can't hurt you. So if you can remain calm and it lands on you, or if you raise them to release them, then, they can't hurt you.
I actually just learned about monarchs this year. And maybe I'd heard of it before, but actually like watched a really good video on the cultural significance for Day of the Dead in Mexico with monarchs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it just so happens, like weirdly enough, that migration is perfectly timed with the Day of the Dead, that they arrive in Mexico on that day, or at least on either side of it.
Interesting.
And so monarch butterflies are viewed as souls.
Well, they are bright. They are bright orange, and I mean I forget the name of the flower that's associated with Day of the Dead, but I mean that's also bright orange as well. Like the monarch butterflies are associated with the souls of departed family members who've come back. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. You'll have to look it up.
Yeah, definitely will. Because I know there's some significance. I have to look that up too. But I know there's some significance with the flowers and the petals and the colors and things like that. Yeah, because it's a very colorful celebration. So all right, I think that wraps up everything, the basics of monarchs. So if you're looking for a hands-on approach to your hatred for insects, these could be your pals, and you can help the environment and get over your fears. So double whammy.
Nice. Mine isn't, my next one, well, my first one isn't as altruistic as that, but in my opinion, this is the starter bug of all starter bugs, and it's not actually a bug, but we'll get into that. And that is roly-polies.
Or roly-polies.
Or woodlouses, whatever you want to call them. So I grew up lifting rocks and peering at what was underneath of them, and roly-polies were like one of the most common sightings.
Oh, and yes.
One of the first, what I thought was a bug, one of the first bugs I ever learned. And I really enjoyed picking them up and watching them roll around in my hand. Yeah. It was a completely harmless, I was being gentle, they were being kind. Like
they were being kind. Actually, they were terrified, and they just...
You're right, I'm sure they were totally
had no other way to let you know besides curl up in a ball.
and hope that they die peacefully. Yeah. But yeah, no. So what are roly-polies? Well, another name for the species is a pill bug. Which is in fact not a bug or even an insect. They are actually...
So you cheated on this episode.
It's all a lie.
Yeah.
They are terrestrial crustaceans. That's right. They're land shrimp.
Josh, t-shirt. Land shrimp.
They're not really land shrimp, but they are related to shrimp. So they're in the same family as crabs and, stuff like that. They're also known as woodlice.
They are what we are going to call them, land shrimps.
Land shrimp.
Land shrimp.
Land shrimp. They're also known as woodlice in Europe, since they're normally found under logs. They are, just a little bit of natural history. They're brown-gray in color with 2 antennae, 7 pairs of legs, which is what makes them not an insect. A segmented
one
body.
Extra leg. Wait.
They have 7 pairs.
Oh, 7 pairs. I thought you said 7 legs. I was like, well, no wonder they always curl up in a ball. It's like because they get stuck in his...
That would be a really weird... There are they grow to be 0.3 to 0.7 inches, so really tiny. And there is another species of woodlouse that looks a lot like it called the sow bug, and I always thought that was just the same thing. Like I thought sow bugs and roly-polies were the same thing.
I would have to look up a picture to see.
They look almost identical, but they've got like tiny little tails, and so they can't roll into a ball. So if you pick it up and it rolls into a ball, yeah. If you pick it up and you roll into a ball, it's a pill bug. If it doesn't, it's a sow bug.
It's a sow bug. All because of that tail.
Originally, they're from Europe, but they can now be found literally all over the world.
I did not know that.
Me neither. I figured with as many as we have, that they'd have to be native.
Because they are everywhere. I mean, that's like as common. So... we've been in Texas almost 3 years now, and I realized maybe 6-7 months ago that I haven't seen a mole. And I don't know how long, because I've been in the South so long. But that's like the same thing. You dig up north, and it's like, I'm going to hit a mole. And I feel like... but you know what I'm talking about. They're everywhere. And I feel like I feel like pill bugs are the same way. Like, you're gonna pick up a rock, I'm gonna see a pill bug.
Guaranteed pill bug.
Yeah. Crazy. I just thought that they were native to here.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna feel really dumb if that's incorrect, but I swear from what I was reading, it says that they are non-native. They are technically nocturnal, which is why you find them under rocks and logs during the day. They're probably super mad to be interrupted.
Yeah, right? They're sleeping, trying to rest up so they can feed at night, and we're just picking them up and playing with them.
Yeah. What I thought was so cute, and I've never, ever heard of, this was the most mind-blowing thing for me. When they're tiny eggs, their mom actually carries them around in a tiny pouch.
Aw, like a little
They have purse pouches. They're like roly-poly kangaroos.
Yeah. Come here, babies. Just hold them
But
all.
instead of having just like one baby in there, they got 1 to 200 of them.
Holy crap.
Yep. So, and once they hatch, they stay in that pouch until they're big enough.
Wow.
So she's carrying around like 200 roly-poly babies in this tiny pouch.
This poor mom, like, just like dragging a pouch of babies.
And that's the other thing that I thought was really surprising is that roly-polies can live 2 to 5 years.
Okay. Definitely did
right?
not know
so
that.
You'd think, okay, a tiny bug, like, we're talking a couple months, maybe.
So,
Nope.
chances are the same rocks that we were living, and to be fair, I mean, I was never looking for roly-polies. I was always looking for salamanders and things, something a little bit more interesting. But I always checked the same rocks. I wonder if they're this. I wonder if they're the same individuals. Like, what is their range? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, probably if they got enough food, why would they leave?
Exactly.
So, like, you probably watch generations of roly-polies grow up and have families, and
Yeah. And I didn't even know. We're just picking them up and poking them, and it could be great grandpa over here, and
it's the same as those red mites that we were talking about. Those,
yeah.
We were talking. So anyway, why are they significant? Why do roly-polies matter? Well, in the grand scheme of things, I think some would argue that they don't. But everything has a purpose.
Except for mosquitoes. I'm still working on that one.
Yeah. They are decomposers that feed on dead and decaying matter.
Which is incredibly important.
Right. Decomposers, I mean, 1, we don't want dead stuff laying all around, and 2, that's the only way nutrients get back in the soil.
Do you remember, there is a statistic out there, and gosh, I wish I could remember it, that it said if we got rid of all the decomposing insects or land shrimps out there, how much dead stuff would be on the forest floor? It would be like an insane, it would be an insane amount. Like, eventually, other things would decompose it. But if you just got rid of one group of decomposers, it would just throw the whole system off.
I'm sure.
So they are super important then.
One study found that, like, there actually has been some studies on them, and one has shown that they are definitely beneficial to forests as a whole, as they do return nutrients to the soil. So, roly-polies matter.
Roly-polies matter.
That's all I gotta say.
Alrighty. I wasn't expecting you to do land shrimp, but I'm gonna forever call it a land shrimp. That's awesome. I never would have thought to do pill bugs, roly-polies for this one.
It was so nostalgic for me, being like, oh, like, it was nostalgic, but also mind-blowing, because I didn't know some of those things.
Yeah, no. And again, it's the same thing, like, with insects. For me, it's always how long they can live. Because you never think about insects living that long. Because, I mean, to be fair, so many of them don't.
Well, right, and, like, as a pretty general rule, at least with mammals, the smaller something is, the less time it lives.
Yeah.
So, like, I just extrapolate that to be like, oh, well, insects are really tiny, so they probably
even
don't live at all.
Tinier. Yeah. Alrighty. So my second lovely creepy crawly are ladybugs.
I knew.
Yep. I knew.
I figured if one of us didn't cover ladybugs,
the
we
other
were
one
missing
would,
out.
right?
Yeah.
I was shocked whenever I asked Kim this. I gave her these two, or I gave her another one, and then this was the second one. So ladybugs, or as they're known by their Irish name, Boinde. I'm probably butchering that to add.
Oh my god! Why do you even bring up names that you're?
Because I gotta say it, because it means God's little cow.
What?
Yes.
Why?
I don't. Well, hold on. I don't think I know the answer to that one. I know the other nickname that they have, and I went into the reasoning for that, but I don't know why they're called God's little cow. Joshua. Yeah. Josh was the one who told me, and
the only thing I can think of is that they have spots, and so do cows.
Maybe. It's BOIN space DE.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I was going to say, don't they milk aphids? But
they do eat aphids.
Then the aphids would be cows.
Yes.
Not them.
Correct. Not them, but they're called God.
Okay, disregard.
Probably because of the spots. It probably really is that easy. All right, so there are about 5,000 different species of ladybugs in the world, and can be found in a variety of habitats from grasslands and forests to suburbs, cities, and along rivers. Basically everywhere.
Yeah.
They're also known as lady beetles or ladybird beetle. They can be found in every single color of the rainbow, which is fascinating. Like every single color. I want to find
a blue or purple one.
Right? Ask Josh; he'll tell you. Or he could probably find it. He could probably get us one.
I see some like at work. We get actual like ladybugs, and then we get the invasive lady beetles that are like orange.
Yes.
So I've definitely seen orange and orangey yellow.
But I will have to look. I'm sure Josh can help us find. We will spam our account with insect photos after this episode because we'll have Josh help us out. So most people love them because they're small and they appear harmless to humans. There's also the saying...
They appear harmless?
Yeah, they appear. Well, I'm going to get into that. They are I'll get into it. Okay. So there's also a saying that if one lands on you, it's good luck. I think every grandparent has ever told their grandchild that.
Yeah.
But to other insects, their bright colors, as always, bright colors are a warning signal. If they're eaten by another insect, they release an oily, foul-tasting fluid from their leg joints.
Yeah, I've definitely had it on my fingers, for sure.
Which
I couldn't smell it, but I could see it.
So let's just pause for a second. First of all, that is why they appear harmless, but they're not. At least
they just stink on you.
Yeah, they're foul tasting, gross fluid from their leg joints, which is really weird because so I don't sweat much at all. Like medically, doctors don't know why. But once I got pregnant, I could finally sweat, which was kind of nice because I always feel like I'm in a sauna when I run. But one of the few places now that I do sweat are my knees. So
like knee pits, like the knee pits.
In the front of my knees.
What? Like the front of your knees?
Yes, like my knees.
What?
So I imagine like a big predator coming towards me and I'm a ladybug. And then my knees start sweating.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
but that's what they do. They sweat. They like secrete.
No, not them. I can accept it from the ladybug. It's your knees.
You can't accept my knee sweat. I'll take a picture next time I'm working out. I'll take a picture of my barely there knee sweat for you. So anyway, why are they great, lovely, creepy crawlies? Again, they're really not intimidating. In fact, they're extremely useful. So farmers were the first ones to coin ladybugs with the name ladybugs. Farmers love ladybugs because they're expert pest control. So when pests start to eat their crops, they would pray to the Virgin Mary. Shortly after the prayers, ladybugs would come in and eat all the insects, so they started calling them Beetle of Our Lady.
I have never heard that.
Mm-hmm. So
that makes total sense.
Side note, why hasn't that been a Catholic high school name?
Yeah.
Beetle of Our
being
Lady?
A Catholic, how have I never heard the origin of the ladybug?
Right? I feel like that was a missed opportunity by like a Catholic nature school. Yeah. If there ever was one, which there should be. Beetle of Our Lady.
Our Lady of what?
It's Beetle of Our Lady.
Oh, Beetle of Our Lady.
Yeah. Totally should have been a school name. All right. So ladybugs, they love to eat aphids, like Laura said earlier, and other plant-eating pests. So even if you're a backyard gardener, you get aphids, and it's all over. I hate freaking aphids. I had the most amazing broccoli plants last year, and I'm fairly hands-off gardener, aka I suck. But so I just say I'm hands-off. But I had incredible broccoli, and within a couple days, I kid you not, aphids in there destroyed them. If I would have known that I would have just ran around our house collecting ladybugs. And I'm gonna have to be more intentional about catching them.
Your job. Yeah,
catching them and then throwing them out in the garden this year. But I lost the whole thing, and I'm just like a hobbyist. I just did it because it was fun. Yeah. But aphids can be obviously devastating to farmers. So for us it's fun, but for farmers they were really important. So I mean, they could lose their whole livelihood in one swoop. So one single ladybug can actually eat up to 5,000 insects in its lifetime.
Wow.
Aphids in its lifetime, which is a lot for how small they are. I mean, aphids are small too, but ladybugs, they're not that big. Yeah.
I mean, an aphid's pretty big compared to a ladybug.
Yes, and to eat 5,000 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like, I wonder how many.
I would think it would be at least like a goat size to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah. About a goat. 5,000 goats in my lifetime. I have to start counting how many goats my mostly vegetarian diet consumes. But they're often not eaten by others because of their dome-shaped body, which makes it hard for other insects to eat them. So they're super beneficial as far as farmers see them, but we're not. So if you're looking for a beneficial, pretty much harmless, comes in every color of the rainbow, nice, lovely, creepy crawly, give ladybugs a try.
Native ones. Choose your native, your local native ladybug. Because I know that I don't remember how long ago, but that was one of the solutions they thought of to get rid of the woolly adelgid.
Oh yeah,
on hemlock trees. They were like, I know, let's release this species of ladybug. They'll eat
when
the woolly adelgid.
When has that ever worked?
Never, and they didn't. But yeah.
The only reason why I picked them is because I found a point why they're useful. That was... Yeah, but they're useful. They're nice to have around. And whenever I saw Beetle of Our Lady, I was like, did not know that either. So I figured I needed to throw that out to our resident Catholic on the show.
Thanks. Well, that leads to my last one, which is one of my all-time favorite creepy crawlies. Probably is my all-time favorite creepy crawly, and that's earthworms.
Hey, listen, I had earthworms first, but you had called it.
Hey. Because who doesn't like... Well, okay, why would I say that? Most people don't like worms.
Want me to tell you my earthworm after this, too?
Okay, good. So I have always loved worms. When I was very young, I wanted to be a worm farmer someday. Like, I literally remember saying that as, like, a career choice, that I was going to be a worm farmer.
But what was the purpose? Is this, like, fish bait, or is it, like, silkworms?
No. Okay. It was because I thought worms were cool.
Laura and her tackle shop?
Yeah. No. I actually, I did go fishing with my dad a bit, but I hated putting worms on the hook because I felt so bad for them, so I'd always make him do it.
Yeah. A lot of kids, I think, have that struggle.
It would not have been for the tackle. Yeah. It would have been for, like, now knowing what I know, I probably would have raised worms for, like, composting or, like, gardening. And I used to and still do rescue worms on sidewalks when it rains.
I think every human, if you are human, you should rescue earthworms on sidewalks. That's just our human responsibility.
And like, when I was a kid, it was like obsessive. I had to save all of them. But I remember being in college, walking from the dorms to classes.
Impossible.
And there would be giant earthworms. And I'd be like, okay, I can save a couple. Just a couple.
I can do this. Just running around.
So I just saved a couple. And I also was like, what you might call like a worm advocate. I'd get really upset.
A worm advocate.
I remember in elementary school when some boys ripped a worm apart and I freaked out on them. I was like, what are you doing? Don't you know I can feel pain? And
are you still a worm advocate, would you say?
I mean, yeah, I teach about worms now and how amazing they are. So yes, I would consider myself a worm advocate. I kind of want a badge.
A worm advocate badge?
Yeah, worm advocate.
Like open up your own like explorer program.
Yeah.
Worm advocate is one of your badges.
So what's the big deal about worms? Because Laura, you're making a big deal out of them. The common earthworm, again, is native to Europe, but it can now be found all over North America and Western Asia. So there are 7,000 species of earthworms, but the common earthworm is the one that's native to Europe.
Okay.
In the United States, 1 square yard of earth in either a grassland or a forest might have 100 to 500 worms living in it.
Crazy.
So 1 square
That's
yard,
so much.
Maybe 500 worms in it.
My dad used to have a thing that fishermen use. It was given to him by somebody, so I don't think he went out and bought this, but it would like shock the earth. And then you would grab.
Like they do for fish?
Yeah. It would like shock the earth and then all the worms would come up and you could just grab them all.
Dang.
Right? Sorry to talk about this to our worm advocate.
In terms of mass or weight, worms are the main type of creature found in most soils. So, they're the heaviest thing. If you dig up a whole bunch of soil, it's worms. So they're also not an insect. They're not a bug, and they're not a crustacean either. They are...
Surprisingly enough, they're not a crustacean.
They're an annelid, which is in the group consisting of segmented worms. So earthworms are brownish in color, a few inches long, although some have reached 14 inches, which I think is pretty crazy.
I was just going to say, I was
That's
hoping...
a monster worm.
I was hoping you would say that because there are some species that are huge, and those ones are, I would say, a little bit creepier.
I agree. I would be, I don't know if I'd be okay with a 14-inch worm.
Yeah, that's
getting, scary big.
What is your... worm inch? What's your cap for?
I would take a healthy 6-inch worm and I'd probably cap it at that.
6 inches. I'm done. Because
then it's just like a big, squishy, slimy, I don't know, like a
like a snake?
Like a tentacle, but like a snake, but in a bad way.
Essentially, at that point, it's a snake. I know,
right,
I get it's segmented, but
a slimy snake.
Yeah.
Ew.
Do you want to hear my worm story now? Real quick?
Well, yeah, go for it.
So, because as you're giving all these facts, I'm like, oh my gosh. There was a group, so to get kids riled up, a bunch of kids riled up for a fundraiser. If they raised so much money, I don't know, the co-teacher I was with, this is when I was working at a museum and we were doing a program. And to get kids all riled up for this fundraiser, I just very spontaneously, I had mentioned to her that in college, I wanted to do my final research project on mealworms and the benefits of adding mealworms to your diet and how they have so much more protein than regular meat. And so on stage, and she's getting all the kids pumped up, and she was like, if you raise X amount, and I guess one of the kids was like, what are you going to give us? Because that's how kids are. Like, they want to, if you reach a goal, they want something. And so she was like, Katy will eat a mealworm. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll eat a mealworm. And then they were like, well, what if we get raise this much money? And she was like, Katy will eat a cricket. I'm like, since when am I gonna
Will I?
Yeah, I'm just back. I'm like, sure. And the top one was if they reached that highest amount that I would eat an earthworm. Sure enough, they reached that highest amount and I had to eat an earthworm. And I will say,
what was it like?
It was horrible tasting. It was so bad that we went out to a not to be named fast food restaurant with arches because I had to get some other taste in my mouth because it was like, first of all, the texture is because they eat dirt, like it's gritty, it's the nephridium, it's like
right, they've got like the tiny little hairs actually, like all those little bristles.
And so it's textured. It's almost like if you were to eat like very fine sandpaper almost. Like
I always pictured it would be like eating a tongue.
I've never eaten a tongue.
Well, me neither, but like slightly textured and slimy and squishy.
It wasn't slimy at all. I will say that it was not slimy at all.
Oh, wow.
And if I would have, when I crunched down, it was a very...
Oh, you chewed? I think I would have just swallowed.
And see, that's what I was debating because I was like, mealworm, boom, swallow. Cricket, crunch, swallow, hurry up, crunch, because I was like, I cannot swallow a cricket whole. That's gross. So I had to kill it. And so earthworm in my mind, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And of course I had to do all of them, because that was the other stipulation, is like, if I got the earthworm, it wasn't just an earthworm. It was as the kids would raise that amount, I would be like, eat an earthworm, eat a cricket, or eat a cricket then earthworm. And so, yeah, so it was something like I crunched down and I hit, is that the nephridium? What's the sac that they have in them?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up. It's the satellum.
Yes, okay. I think that's what I hit.
That's the reproducctive organ.
Maybe that's not what I hit, but I crunched down.
It's that band, that thick band around their body.
No, it wasn't that. It was something inside of them that, like, I could feel it, like, slightly pop. And then it was like...
They have a crop.
Maybe, I don't know, but it was like an instant disgusting taste. No amount of water could get that out of my mouth. And to this day, I'm like, nope. I've eaten mealworms, and I've totally eaten crickets to like freak people out. Never again will I eat an earthworm. So continue.
Well, there you go, kids.
Raise enough money and Katy will eat a mealworm.
And don't eat worms because they taste bad.
It tastes horrible.
Wow. Well, although they might not look like much or taste like much, their bodies are pretty amazing. So they're made up of segments, which they're like compartments. They're like little compartment animals built on each other. And they're covered in super tiny bristles. They have muscles and nerves just like we do.
Now
and
I feel bad.
I know, I'm about to anthropomorphize them.
Oh,
no. They do have a mouth and an anus, so there's a front end and a back end to a worm. The front end is the one that's closest to the smooth band around its body. So there's like a big, thick band on a worm, and that's the satellum, and that's their reproductive organ.
Is the big, thick band, is that a trait of all earthworms?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've seen red wigglers, which are really small, and they don't have that.
True.
But I think that all worms do have to have it to a degree, because it's their reproductive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because that thing, so they're hermaphrodites, which means, they're both sexes. Makes mating real simple. Well, anyway, so then that little band like rolls off their body into an egg case.
Dude.
It's bizarro.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because they're segmented, if a worm's cut in half, the head half can live and actually regrow its tail. But it is a myth that you can make two worms. The bottom half's going to die.
Just keep chopping it up into more worms.
Yeah.
That's how you were going to start your worm farm. We just keep...
Oh, jeez, no way. I actually, to this day, feel bad because sometimes I have to feed... I feed worms occasionally to, our turtles and our toads. And, like, normally death is quick, and so it doesn't make me feel bad. But I hate when I have to pinch one in half for the toads.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, I don't like to have to do it. Yeah. So why are worms important? They are decomposers just like roly-polies. They eat dead and decaying matter in the form of soil, and they eat soil, lots and lots of soil. Sometimes up to a third of their body weight per day.
What?
Yeah. So
I wish I could eat a third of my body weight a day.
I mean, you probably could, but like, oh my gosh.
That's so much food.
I bet soil is pretty low in calories, though.
Or they're constantly moving.
Yeah, they're exercising. We absolutely need worms. They are completely vital to healthy soil. So, if there was any doubt about roly-polies, there is no doubt about worms, okay? Their poop, also known as casts, provide homes to tons of beneficial microbes and bacteria. They turn the soil over and distribute nutrients. And it's claimed that they can turn over the top 6 inches of soil in an area in 10 to 20 years. They're like...
That's pretty impressive.
Slow motion hose. As I said it, I realized how it would sound. But I didn't mean it that way. I meant the gardening hoe. Okay.
I got it. I just wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting that. Slow motion hose. Josh, please don't draw that.
Their tunnels that they make allow water to filter through the ground. They break up soil that creates pockets that increases the water holding capacity of the soil. Their tunnels provide channels for roots to follow. And they bury dead and decaying matter and turn it back into nutrients. So worms are freaking powerhouses.
Yes.
They do a lot for us. And we never most people do not appreciate them.
And they just let them die on the sidewalks. Or eat them, apparently. That's a good one. That was good. Good. All right.
So those are our, hopefully we've changed your mind a little bit on creepy crawlies. And, even if you don't like them, hopefully you can at least appreciate them.
And
that's all we're asking.
Yeah, just appreciation. If you can't handle a monarch butterfly walking on you, you can at least appreciate the role that it plays in the ecosystem, and same thing with everything else.
Yeah, we do a program with worms where I work, and I love seeing the different reactions that kids have and then how that changes over the program.
Yes.
Because half the kids are on board, ready for the worm. The other half are like squealing.
Yes.
And then by the end, though, they're all so intrigued. Like they all want to know about it and like touch it and poke it. And yeah. I just have to remind them to be gentle because we're giant.
Yeah. Just remember, children, gentle. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for listening. Episode 7, we are officially done with this episode, and I guess we made it. Yeah, we made it. We made it. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on all social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at FTLON Podcast. We post all sorts of pictures and some more content and to supplement and kind of add to all these episodes. So, and that's the easiest way to reach out to us and let us know what you're thinking, what you liked about the episodes, what you didn't like about the episodes, and what's your favorite insect. So maybe let us know if you have a favorite creepy crawly. Let us comment and let us know.
Yeah. Tune in next week, everybody.